Siddur Snippet series is generously sponsored by the Saka family and as well by Elad and Avram Foreman. We're on the bracha of V'LiYerushalayim Ircha Barachamim Tashuv, and we've given a long introduction to this bracha and its place. We just mentioned that it's interesting Medrash Tanchuma talk on this week's parsha. I love when Siddur Snippets and the parsha overlap on Parshas Korach. Tanchuma tells us that originally the word Tov is the numerical value of 17, and Tov, when the Beis HaMikdash no longer exists and we can't draw close to Hashem through Karbanos, we do so through Tov, through the brachos. How do you arrive at 17? We know that we have Shemona Esrei, it's 18, 19 Taka brachos today. So one bracha we know, Birchas Haminim, V'Lamashinim was added later. We learned the history of the Birchas Haminim. But as well, V'Liyerushalayim and Semach David, what we have as two separate brachos originally used to be one. The themes are intertwined. The notion of Yerushalayim being rebuilt, Yerushalayim as a place of Hashem's dwelling, and Malchus Beis David, the restoration of the Davidic dynasty, those used to be intertwined before they were separated into two separate brachos. And even as they appear now as two separate brachos, they are still overlapping and intertwined in some way. In our bracha, we still conclude, V'chisei David meher l'socha tachin. We long for that when Yerushalayim will be complete, will be rebuilt, that the house, the chair, the throne of David will be contained therein, will be in Yerushalayim. And then we conclude, Bonei Yerushalayim, which the Bach was bothered, the Chasima, the conclusion, the end of a bracha, should continue and close the most previous theme that was referenced. So if the last theme of the bracha of V'Liyerushalayim is Chisei David, so why do we end Bonei Yerushalayim? What's the connection? And the answer is, Yerushalayim, David HaMelech, that throne being housed in Yerushalayim, the political leadership, the Davidic dynasty is a critical component of Yerushalayim, the geographic city, Yerushalayim, that place. And even though the bracha that follows, the next bracha, Semach David, doesn't include a reference to Yerushalayim, the bracha of Yerushalayim does include a reference to Chisei David, to the throne of David HaMelech, to the fulfillment of Jewish monarchy and Jewish governance and Jewish leadership, Yerushalayim being complete and being whole, Yerushalayim being rebuilt, and David being reestablished on his throne, Jewish governance, Jewish sovereignty, those themes are intertwined. There's a progression in our bracha of Yerushalayim. There are 4 stages. The first is V'Liyerushalayim Ircha, Yerushalayim, not Ireinu, our city. We've spoken about, we formulate to Hashem, don't do this for us. It's not just a favor or a gracious thing for us to rebuild Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is Ircha, your city. Why do we call it Yerushalayim Ircha, your city? Because we're saying, Hashem, for you to be manifest, for your intense dwelling to be felt, Yerushalayim has to be whole, Yerushalayim has to be complete. That's where you live, that's where the Shekhinah resides. So don't only do it for us, we may be indeed unworthy, but Yerushalayim is not just Ireinu, our city, it's Yerushalayim is Ircha, it's your city. And Barachamim, with compassion, talk about more in a moment, Tashuv. So the first theme is Tashuv, it's the return to Yerushalayim. And then the next theme after Tashuv, return, not anew, but it's a place you've been, come back. Return, come back home. The second theme in this progression is V'sishkon b'socha kasher dibarta. V'sishkon means don't just return, but dwell, be present, make that your home, settle. Then the third theme is Uvenei osa b'kara v'yameinu. Uvenei means build. Don't just return, don't just dwell, but build it out. And then the fourth theme is V'chisei David meher l'socha tachin, establish the seat of David. This notion of Hashem returning is based on psukim in Yechezkel. Chazal tell us the Shekhinah left Yerushalayim in 10 stages. Gemara in Rosh Hashanah Lamed Aleph, there were 10 phases or 10 stages in which the Shekhinah withdrew. The less worthy we were, the less we earned Hashem's presence, the more He said, if you don't welcome me and you don't want me, if you're not living as if I'm among you, then I'm going to withdraw. In 10 stages He withdrew. We're beginning Chodesh Tammuz, the Shabbos, and then Av, please God, by Tisha B'Av, will already be in Yerushalayim together with the Beis HaMikdash. If not, the 3 weeks, the 9 days, Tisha B'Av, we're marking these 10 stages, this withdrawal. What was that withdrawal? The Shekhinah left. Shekhinah is from the word shachein, a neighbor, a dwelling, to feel Hashem's intense presence. He withdrew that feeling, and what was left was a vacuum. We don't have Hashem's providence. We didn't have Hashem's supervision. We didn't have that level of access. We didn't feel that spiritual intensity of Hashem's presence. And so the Navi describes, Yechezkel describes, that the Shechina Begalusa, the Shechina left, the Shechina withdrew from Yerushalayim in 10 stages, but ultimately entirely leaving that vacuum. And that's what we're davening, that's what we're hoping, we're asking, V'Liyerushalayim Ircha Barachamim Tashuv, return. Why do we ask Barachamim? Why Barachamim? Because how did he leave? When the Shechina withdrew in those 10 stages, when ultimately he left this vacuum and absence, this absence without his presence, without his providence, how did he leave? He left with Midas Hadin, Hashem's wrath, Hashem's fury. It was Midas Hadin. Can we mark that destruction? We felt that loss, that devastation. It was with Din. So the reverse of that Din, of the Midah of Din, is we're asking for Rachamim. You brought your wrath upon us, now we're asking for your compassion. Even if we're unworthy, even if we don't have the merit, but nevertheless, please express your compassion through your rachamim. Now I'll just leave it as a question, but I'll present to you. We have a parallel to this bracha of V'Liyerushalayim. The parallel within the Amida of V'Liyerushalayim is the bracha in benching. The bracha in benching, the third bracha, V'Liyerushalayim, ends with Bonei. How does that bracha end? The short bracha. Uvinei. I'll sing it. Maybe it'll be more familiar to it that way. Uvinei. Bonei. So some here have the custom, Bonei Barachamav, Yerushalayim, Amen. And others omit the word Barachamav and just say Bonei Yerushalayim. Why do you omit the word Barachamav? Because the Gra, the Vilna Gaon, brings down a practice, a custom. The Pasuk tells us, Tzion b'mishpat tipadeh, that Tzion will be redeemed through justice. It's not compassion. When we practice justice, when we protect the innocent, when we stand up for justice, then we'll be worthy of Hashem returning to Yerushalayim, Tzion b'mishpat tipadeh. So it's not barachamav. It doesn't come through compassion. We have to earn it. We have to be worthy of it. We have to defend and stand up for justice and for righteousness. So the Gra said, since Tzion b'mishpat tipadeh, omit barachamav. Talmidei Agra, when you bench with them, you'll hear them say Bonei Yerushalayim, Amen, leaving out the word barachamav. And yet, here, I don't think Talmidei Agra leave out the word barachamim in this bracha. V'Liyerushalayim Ircha Barachamim Tashuv, even though Tzion b'mishpat tipadeh. So why? Why did the Gra not say to omit barachamim here in this bracha and leave that as a question? We'll continue with this bracha.